No.
We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
Right.
Fucking thing sucks.
In 5, 4, 3.
Anyone claiming that America's economy is in decline is peddling fiction.
I've abandoned free market principles to save the free market system.
But we have to pass the bill so that you can find out what is in it.
Raising the debt ceilings does not increase our debt. It does not somehow promote profligacy.
I know words. I have the best words. Nobody knows the system better than me, which is why I alone can fix it.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Peddling Fiction Podcast. I'm your host, the voice and soul of so-called fiction, Johnny Profita, and back with me once again on a lovely Friday afternoon, as long as you're not heavily invested in gold and silver, is Justin Hillbilly Boy Campbell. What's happening over there?
Lovely is a stretch, considering I'm still staring at a solid 15 inches of snow on the ground. It is not broken above 25 degrees all week, and none of this shit is going anywhere. So I bought a fucking blowtorch, and I'm going to clear a path for myself.
Blowtorch.
Goddamn right.
I'm picturing like something. Like when you first said it, I was like, wait, like for like searing off a fucking scallop or something. But then I was like, oh no, he's talking about like what they would use to fucking clear out underground tunnels in Vietnam.
Maybe not quite that excessive, but I did. But it is pretty badass looking. So here's the blowtorch that I bought. For those who don't watch the video, you're missing out.
You can buy it on Amazon.
Awesome. Heck yeah. They have them at like Lowe's and Home Depot. It's more of a wand style where you hook the propane tank to it, and then it's like a long wand with a big trigger on it. And those are a little bit more expensive than this one. Well, a little bit more expensive than what I paid for this one. This one was 50% off today. I guess they know that the Midwest is having snow issues and people might be looking for blowtorches. They're like, strike while the iron's hot, give it to them for 50% off. We'll still make a killing. So anyway, I bought one. I thought it was a little more badass looking than just the big wand thing that's a little bit more expensive. So yeah, I will follow up because it should be arriving on Tuesday, and usually Amazon delivers about 2 hours before we do the show. So I'll break it out and go blowtorch some fucking snow and ice and report back on the show next week as to how well it worked.
All right. Sounds good.
Sorry, I can't be the hillbilly boy without doing some hillbilly shit.
Yeah. That's how hillbillies shovel snow, ladies and gentlemen, with a fucking propane blowtorch.
Goddamn right.
Oh. Well, if I seem distracted, it's because I'm seeing the craziest move in precious metals ever. I think ever recorded. We might have to go over that because I have been talking about this quite a bit on the show. Should I share my screen?
Talk about the silver position the way you were telling it to me earlier.
Silver, I think it bottomed at about 1:45 New York time, so about like a half hour ago. I think I saw a bottom. I'll show it to you on the chart what it looks like when something bottoms, and of course it was just a completely random level where it stopped on a dime. We'll get to that. But silver opened up the day at 115.91, and it bottomed at least right now. Like nothing is set in stone. The low of the day is 74.40. So yeah, it was down $40, a little over $40 at one point, which is more than all the silver in the world was worth this time last year. like this time last year, all the silver in the world was only worth $23. Even in July of this past year, it was still under 40. It was at 38. Like that is a move. Like there's no explanation for this move other than this shit's fucking rigged. I'm sorry. Like they're trying to blame Donald Trump came out with his nominee, Warsh, for Fed chair, and he's a hawkish Fed chair. So apparently we're just going to slam precious metal down 35% at the low on silver, down 12% and change the low on gold so far today. I mean, these are massive moves for precious metals. Just do not move like that. I mean, on the way up, we were seeing 10% moves, and I thought that was fucking crazy in silver. I don't know if I've ever seen a 10% move in gold. I'm trying to like, maybe when it was like $300 an ounce or something, I saw that. I wasn't really tracking it the way I am now. But yeah, it was down like 600 and something gold intraday. And silver's back at 82 now. So I don't know. Maybe I think we might have bottomed for the day. But let me show you the completely random reversal point on my screen here. Because, I identify these zones. And I've had these zones drawn on. If you've been following the Substack at all, I've had these zones drawn out on here for weeks. I didn't just put these in and be like, oh, look where it stopped. Like these have been on my charts. Take a look at this. So yeah, this is a daily chart of silver. This big scary red bar is the price, but look where it stopped. Just right at the bottom of that green zone that I had laid out. It wicked through it a little bit, but right at 74.57, 74.52, it just completely stopped on a dime and went back up. Now, the reason I think it bottomed is I had that zone identified, and look how it respected it on the way up, right? We wicked through the bottom a little bit, then we tapped the midpoint, and then we ran up from 7. Like we never came down here again until just now. We went up to 120 from this zone. But look, if you look at it like on a 5-minute chart, like there's your reversal pattern. So if I was trading this intraday, I would be waiting for it to dip back down in here, maybe at 81. If I was patient, if I was going to chase it, I probably would have entered on this candle here, and I would have targeted the midpoint of this green zone here right at 100, essentially. So we'll see if we get back up there this afternoon. I suppose anything's possible, but this could also just be, a slight retracement. This area right here, top of this zone. Look, it just randomly stopped right there. Okay. How do I like tell me it's not fucking rigged and this is an algorithmic price delivery? But look at it trading inside this zone. See it respect these levels, respects the midpoint, respects the top, respects the bottom until it doesn't. It's very, very crazy price action, but then it's amazing how organized it is at certain levels. Like right here, just boom. Immediate reversal. I am not trading this, but you could, like that would be, if you were really aggressive, you would buy it. You would buy it in this green zone here, and you would have caught a really nice move up from 75 to 85 in what's that, 15 minutes? So a $10 move in silver in 15 minutes is what we're talking about here, which is insane. Like I said, a year ago, it was $23. It's like 50% of what it was worth. It's moving in 15 minutes now. So this is pretty fucking crazy. And I can't really stop looking at it. It's like a train wreck. A train wreck that's costing me a fortune. But yeah, I just can't stop looking at it. It is wild to watch this stuff. this stuff go. I mean, I'm of the potential nominees for Trump. Yeah, he's the more hawkish one, but to pretend that he's actually going to be a Volcker and hike interest rates to 18% is ridiculous. He's going to be a hawkish Fed in name only.
And he's on the record as having said he's open to looking at dropping rates. Like he and Trump apparently have had conversations about this. He and Trump go back quite a bit. I think Trump may have put him on the board when he was in his first term. I can't remember. Anyway, this guy's been around for a while. He checks all the boxes that the people who are looking for, a certain demographic control everything, look at. But also, you don't get into this type of position if you haven't done those things. It's not like I guarantee you 100% of everybody else who's on the board with the Fed has done all of those same things. It's not like unique to this guy. This doesn't mean Israel is running the Federal Reserve. But anyway, like he and Trump go back a ways. So, and he has openly said that he is going to work with Trump on the rates. So, like, to expect him to just come in and be immediately hawkish is ridiculous. And like you said, it shows that it's kind of rigged and the markets are playing a certain game. I wonder what Nancy Pelosi and some of the others, what their stocks were doing leading up to this today.
Nancy Pelosi bought $50 million worth of puts 2 days ago, expiring today. Today is an option expiration day, so that you have that on top of all of this other shit. But they'll blame it. They can blame it on that. I'm sorry, dude. 35% drop in silver and a 12% drop in gold. You cannot attribute to him nominating a Fed chair. Trump is on record saying he wants lower interest rates. He's not going to nominate somebody who's not going to lower interest rates. He can give the illusion that he's probably worried about the dollar. I wouldn't be surprised. The dollar had a nice bounce today. Went from 95.72 on the dollar index to 96.95 right now. But it has broken structure to the downside. This chart doesn't look good. I talked about that a few days ago. But the idea that all of a sudden the Federal Reserve is just gonna stop printing money like it's going out of style. They're gonna raise interest rates, even though Donald Trump is on record over and over again saying he wants lower interest rates. And the amount of debt we have, we just can't afford higher interest rates. I saw some newsletter I was reading today. We went from 37 trillion to 38 trillion in 10 weeks. Or no, not 10 weeks or 10 months. 10 months. 10 months. Which is it's crazy, dude. $1 trillion in less than a year is nuts. Just added to the national debt. The idea that we've just become, now it's just get rid of all your gold because the dollar is going to be fine. Donald Trump nominated a hawkish Fed chair. It's complete bullshit, dude. Absolute bullshit. I don't believe it for a second. It will be, it's like when we were cautiously optimistic, I suppose, when he nominated Dan Bongino and Kash Patel and what's her face? What's the Hawaiian chick's name? Tulsi Gabbard. And they're gonna do stuff, and then Tulsi Gabbard said Obama committed treason. Nothing's happened since then.
Did you see? Tulsi is in Atlanta. Apparently, they're going after the Fulton County. I can't remember what it is. Basically the people that count the votes. There was a lot of suspicious shit over the 2020 election, and they refused to give any of the turn over any of the stuff to the DOJ, and so Tulsi is in Fulton County, Georgia, to go after the people who, like, it doesn't change anything, but they might actually have evidence of some pretty heavy duty fraud from not just 2020, from multiple elections that have happened, and could be pursuing charges against that office. So, but again, will anything come of it? I don't know.
Right.
I don't really.
We're going to get all the Doge cuts, and then they run Elon out of town, and we're going to get the Epstein files, and then those are gone.
Like, is anything going to happen with the Fulton County thing? I doubt it. I don't really care. It's not going to like change 2020. You can't revert. Like you can't go back in time. And I think 2020 was a misplay by the Democrats anyway. Like, to put Joe Biden in charge when you know that you're going to come out of a pandemic and everything's going to go straight to fucking shit. And then you have to be sitting there holding the bag when it all goes straight to fucking shit. Like, this shouldn't have been hard to figure out if, like, you understand how, like, the way they were just running things rampantly crazy for all of the pandemic, to think, oh yeah, like, we're totally going to be fine for the next 4 years. Just like you and I have talked about, like it's not going to be great for the next 3 or 4 years either. Like, there's a lot of shit that's going to happen. And like, whoever's in charge is going to be the one that's holding the bag for all of that shit. Like, do you really want to be the one who's doing that? And so, like, I think 2020 was a big misplay on the Democrats' part, because not only did they end up holding the bag for a lot of bullshit and trying to run spin on stuff that was obviously spin. Like, everybody in their right mind was like, yeah, y'all are just talking out your ass. Like, none of this is real. 2, then you re-engage Donald Trump to make another run at 2024, and you piss off a significant portion of the population. Like, that whole thing was a total misplay. They could have let Trump win in 2020 and let everything just like sputter and fail and let him like go out with his tail tucked between his legs. And instead they fucked it up in the most monumental way possible. That's the problem of playing the short game versus the long game, is if you don't understand what's going on then you think you just need to have power all the time, but power doesn't get you anything if everything goes to fucking shit. Sorry, that's enough of my how to play the political game. It's like, strategic losses are a valuable thing, and understanding when to take a strategic loss can get you a lot further than winning and then ending up in a worse position than what you would have been otherwise.
Yeah. But I think the overall point is, none of these fucking pussy politicians or their nominees for anything are going to do the right thing. That's my point.
Although I am
Hawkins. I don't know that much about him, but I guarantee you he's not going to be Paul Volcker Hawkey. Not going to get that, which is what we need.
They got a
if
video
they do that, I'll sell my fucking gold.
They got a video of him talking about the economy and like what makes a strong economy and stuff. And it's pretty decent stuff. It was in that post I sent you earlier. It's not bad.
We think the winning country has the perfect fiscal policy, the perfect monetary or trade policy. But the most important thing in our economy or any economy in the world is something we don't teach so much anymore. It's called the micro foundations of macroeconomics. Macro is fiscal and monetary policy. What are those micro foundations? The micro foundations of macro is, what does someone in that country do when they wake up in the morning? How do they comport themselves during the day? Do they take risks, fail, and try again? When they look at the next door neighbor, do they say, why is he or she getting that? They don't deserve it. Or they look at their next door neighbor and say, oh, I aspire to do that. I like what they're doing. The kind of economies that do best aren't filled with envy. The economies that do best are filled with high expectations, responsibility, good civic duty. And in the post-war era, I would say the micro foundations, what we call the culture of the economy, that's the trigger word. The culture of the U.S. economy has been incredible. So if our government doesn't do anything to destroy that culture, that economy is going to massively outperform.
That's a pretty big if.
I can't believe that dude's only 35. He looks like he's older than us. Like, working for the Fed must be fucking brutal.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like, it's just like any other political position, though. And you can claim that the Fed isn't political, but they are. once you get in there, there's just going to be so much pressure on him from Donald Trump and everybody else to, at a minimum, just kind of keep rates where they are. But they need lower interest rates to keep this party going. And if you think that Donald Trump isn't going to be pushing for lower interest rates before the fucking midterms, where like it's looking like the Republicans are going to get fucking slaughtered, you got another thing coming. So I just think this is, I don't see it. I don't see it. And even if he was say it, like I've read some of the stuff he said, I've heard some of the stuff he said, and it's like, yeah, like he is against inflation, wants to protect the dollar, but yeah, it's easy to fucking say those things. Alan Greenspan said that shit too. But like, and then he kept interest rates at fucking 1% forever. It's a whole other game. Alan Greenspan would at least track the price of gold and try to keep it. I think it was between like $300 and $400 an ounce is kind of what he would use. He actually used the free market to gauge his monetary policy. If he was too loose, gold would get up around like 400. He would tighten to get it back down. And if it got down before, below 300, he was too tight, like that kind of stuff. But now it's just like, yeah, they just kind of fucking, I don't know how they do it. They just feel that this should be the interest rate, or they base it on, some dot plot bullshit. But what's that based on? So yeah, I think this is a lot of fucking crazy short-term noise here. They also did a couple days ago, they raised the margin requirements. COMEX did for silver again. And it went into effect yesterday. So that's what yesterday's little flash crash was. If you thought yesterday's flash crash was crazy, just give it a day. Because yesterday it went from 120 to 107. That's a pretty big move. And then back up to 116. I think that had a lot to do with the margin requirements. And then today is just a whole other different animal. But yeah, I guess time will tell who's right about this. But over the long term, I see the dollar going down and I see these metals going up. We shall see. All right. Did you see Don Lemon got arrested?
I was going to say, for all the disappointment in anybody else and all of my calls for Pam Bondi to be fired, I take it back. And wherever Jim is, he's not here right now, but fuck you, Jim. Jim told me that. So Jim comes from a law enforcement family background, for anybody who wasn't aware. And so he was looking at a bunch of stuff, and he explained to me why they may not have done anything prior to or earlier in the week. Is like, if you look at some of this stuff, what they're probably waiting on is getting the right kind of arrest warrants and stuff to make sure that it's done correctly so that it will hold up in court and yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. So anyway, it finally came to fruition and Don Lemon got fucking arrested. And then here's the statement from his attorneys, which this might be some of the, I don't know, this attorney might not be very good. Like Lemon might want to look into a new attorney. Don Lemon was taken into custody by federal agents last night in Los Angeles, where he was covering the Grammys. Why the fuck? Like, Don Lemon doesn't work for any network. Why is he covering the Grammys? Like, who's actually paying attention to that? Anyway, Don has been a journalist for 30 years, journalist, and his constitutionally protected work in Minneapolis was no different than what he has always done. The First Amendment exists to protect journalists whose role is to shine light on the truth and hold those in power accountable. There is no more important time for people like Don to be doing this work. Instead of investigating the federal agents who killed 2 peaceful Minnesota protesters, which is again bullshit, there are active investigations going on in both of those cases. The Trump Justice Department is devoting its time, attention, and resources to this arrest, and that is the real indictment of wrongdoing in this case. They act like Don Lemon is the only one who's been arrested in any of this. This unprecedented attack on the First Amendment and transparent attempt to distract attention from the many crises facing this administration will not stand. Don will fight these charges vigorously and thoroughly in court. With a lawyer like this, good fucking luck. They appealed Don Lemon being arrested, and the appellate court threw it out immediately. So basically, the appellate court took the appeal of his arrest and looked at it and said, like they were basing it on this original judge refused to sign the warrant. And basically what the appellate court said was that the original judge violated his responsibility to actually do his job by not signing it, because it 100% was valid and should have been signed. So like the appellate court just threw the whole thing out immediately. It's interesting to watch how this is kind of unfolding. CNN put out a statement regarding Don Lemon's arrest, which is about the gayest thing you're going to read today. But here we go. The FBI's arrest of our former CNN colleague Don Lemon raises profoundly concerning questions about press freedom and the First Amendment. The Department of Justice already failed twice to get an arrest warrant for Don and several other journalists in Minnesota, where a chief judge of the Minnesota Federal District Court found there was no evidence that there was any criminal behavior involved in their work. Again, this is where they put in an appeal to Don Lemon's being arrested, and the appellate court said that chief judge who found no evidence was wrong and should have signed it to begin with, and he violated his responsibility to the justice system, not the other way around. The First Amendment is the United States protects journalists who bear witness to news and events as they unfold, ensuring they can report freely in the public interest, and the DOJ's attempts to violate those rights is unacceptable. We will be following this case closely, except that Don Lemon wasn't.
That makes me feel much better. CNN's on the case.
Don Lemon wasn't bearing witness to news events as they unfolded. He was part of organizing and busting into a church and disrupting a service, which is a violation of law, and it's a felony charge, and they 100% did that, and the dipshit filmed himself doing it. Like,
quite literally, yeah. Not only did he film himself doing it, but he filmed the beforehand where he's he's conspiring to do this with other people.
Right.
Like, this is a fucking slam dunk case. And the fact that that judge didn't sign up, like, it just goes to show you how fucking rigged the goddamn justice system is. It just literally depends on who, what kind of judge you get. They really need to, maybe that's a role for AI. We could just get a bunch of fucking AI judges. Like, this is the fucking letter of the law, because it's ridiculous. And I'm kind of two minds, because now Don Lemon gets to make himself a fucking martyr. But, yeah, dude, all those people should have been fucking arrested for this. And if there was a law against being a fucking jagoff, which maybe there should be, it's like, you're just being a fucking jerk off. You deserve to be punished for that. Somehow there has to be some sort of punishment, but like, they literally did violate. The fact that it's a felony is crazy to me, but they would support, like, it's the KKK thing, right?
Yes.
That makes it a felony, which is just delicious, dude, because that they would have been huge proponents of that law just in a vacuum. If you're just like, hey, here's the law, Don Lemon would have fucking loved that law. Right up until they shove it up. Well, he's going to like that too.
That's the problem, is like, he's going to enjoy that as well. So it's like,
yeah, is this really a punishment?
Using the KKK law against a gay black man is quite possibly the most insanely ironic thing ever. Like,
yeah, who had that on their bingo card for 2026? Oh yeah, 35% crash in precious metals, and Don Lemon being arrested for a KKK violation. That is something. Again, dude. So what's realistically going to happen to him here? You going to pay a fine or something?
Yeah, there's no way that he's actually getting like felony charges and going to do any legitimate jail time. He'll do an overnight if he even did a full overnight. He'll
probably I feel like he'll probably volunteer to do that just so he could say he like went to fucking prison. Like, he wants the talking points now, which is why I'm just like, we can't get. Just saw an article. I don't know if I sent you this one. Some dude that Jesus something or other. Jesus Ramirez beat the ever-loving shit out of somebody on the CTA train in Chicago, like put him in a coma, broken ribs, fractured skull, traumatic brain injuries, obviously. 0 prison time for him. He got credit for being on an ankle monitor for like a year before his trial or something. So I guess that's it. That's the punishment. House arrest for comatosing somebody for no reason on public transportation. And then, we get Don Lemon arrested. He'll probably serve more jail time than this fucking Jesus guy.
I think, not to get too nerdy, I think that kind of shit is the reason why, like, Disney and Marvel Comics had to change the Punisher, because watching the judicial system just completely fuck entire cities over by not doing their fucking job is effectively the story of why the Punisher exists in the first place in the comics. Is like his family gets killed and nobody's going to do anything about it, so he decides to take justice into his own hands and just start killing criminals everywhere. It's like, y'all do realize most vigilante stories started, both fictional and non-fictional, started because the justice system refuses to do its fucking job, and people realize there's no hope for us in going through the system, so we just have to fucking do this. Like, if you want to create vigilantes, this is how you go about doing it: is don't actually punish criminals for being malicious, horrible fucking criminals. Like, then you're just going to, that you open it up to people are going to take justice into their own hands. Like,
that's that movie, Law Abiding Citizen.
Yeah,
that was well. The ending was retarded, but
that was the worst. The worst ending to a movie ever. But up to that point,
up until the end, where fucking Jamie Foxx gets the better of him in some ridiculous fashion. That was fucking great, and I think everybody was fucking rooting for him to just burn the whole fucking thing down. And I forget exactly, like his wife was like raped and murdered or something. I forget why what exactly happened in the trial that set him off, but it was something along those lines where it's just like, okay, these guys are gonna get off.
They let the main. I actually watched that with Sean a few weeks ago. They let the main guy, the one who did the most in the rape and murder of his wife and daughter. They let him take a plea deal to throw the other guy under the bus. And he was like, no, like, he was the main one. They're like, yeah, but he says this, so he gets a plea deal and he gets off with a slap on the wrist, and the other guy will get like legitimate punishment. And
it's pretty wild to just be at the whims of these prosecutors, like what they're going to prosecute, what they're not, who gets the deal. And these judges are just like, are there any like legitimate judges left? Are they all just fucking activists? Like, both ways probably, but much more so on the left. Like, there doesn't seem to be any interest in some sort of left-leaning judge enforcing any sort of law and order that's on the books. Like,
speaking of law and order, the fucked up thing is, like, mainstream media has told us how this works for 30 years. Like, if you watch old Law and Order episodes, like, that's one of the things that the prosecutors do is they talk to the judge and they talk to the defense attorney, and they figure out what they're going to actually, like, what kind of a deal they're going to give these people so that they can actually get a prosecution. Because if they have to take it to trial and it becomes this big, long, drawn out thing, then they don't know where it's going to go. So they'll give them a deal and do all this, and it's like, man, they've been telling us for forever that this whole thing is fucked, and we just weren't paying attention. Like, we just thought it was a crime drama. We didn't realize that this is like real fucking life and how it actually works.
Yeah, and they just want a high conviction rate so that they can become one of these pussy politicians in Congress.
Right, exactly.
And then steal, because that's when you make the big money. That's when you steal the fucking millions and you insider trade. So you sell the fucking puts on silver at 120. And speaking of, I don't know if this is a good transition into Ilhan Omar's thing, but it's starting to look like, I don't know, I sent you a clip on this during the intro. You probably haven't seen it yet. It's starting to look like that whole investment, the whole hedge fund or whatever that her husband's running and the winery are complete bullshit. Like they don't have any.
Yeah, they don't even have real assets.
Yeah.
Okay, that was far left Congresswoman Ilhan Omar claiming the Justice Department and Congress probing her sudden skyrocketing wealth to $30 million in just 1 year, that they have a problem for living the American dream. You heard her say the goddamn United States of America. We've got new questions on where she and her husband got all that money. Joining us now, Forbes Media Chair, Editor-in-Chief Steve Forbes. Steve, new information coming in, and Forbes magazine, your magazine has reported this too, that the state of Delaware and Washington, D.C. canceled the registrations for Omar's husband's investment firm, Rose Lake, for not paying its back taxes. We saw it owed more than $400,000 to Delaware and nearly $1,800 to D.C. She's claiming it's worth $25 million from less than $1,000 a year before. How can his investment firm not afford to pay taxes? It's supposedly worth an estimated $75 million to $150 million. This is really weird stuff.
Well, weird is not the word for it. There's another word for it called crooked. And that's why we have to have an investigation into this. As you know, the Biden administration started examining her finances and that of her husband. And so surprise, surprise, that investigation went nowhere. But it's amazing how people can go into Congress and then become these entrepreneurial investing geniuses where they come in. She had under $1,000 of net worth and her husband didn't have much. And suddenly now they're multimillionaires. Is there a money laundering operation here? And in terms of the firms themselves, they have a sketchy background. That winery in California that she and her husband own, where did that come from? Where's the wine there? And nobody can seem to find it. So there's a lot of smelly stuff here. And that's why in the American Dream, her version of the American Dream is the Al Capone version of the American Dream, Tony Soprano version of the American Dream, and that is steal it from the taxpayers. And so there's
saying a Somalian has smelly stuff is probably racist, but I'm 100% here for it.
A lot of stuff here. And so when somebody cloaks themselves in the American Dream, and so you have numbers like this from minus 1,000 to 30, 40 million, you know something is not right.
Yeah, and she's also like, blaming people, bullying, doing race baiting, race bullying. There's no evidence, public evidence, there's even a winery. She valued it at $5 million. His investment firm is real. It's supposedly real. Its DC headquarters appear to share office space at a WeWork, Steve. There's no track record of his firm managing money, doing M&A deals. No clients we see, investment deals, or any work it's done. They say they do work in 80 nations operating in. There's no SEC registrations for them as investment advisors. What is going on here? This increasingly looks sketchy, both the winery and his investment firm.
Yeah, the winery may not exist, and the firm may be just really a name only, as you say, a WeWork office, big deal. So that's why the investigation needs to be done. And suddenly all that 30 million, I think you're going to find, I'll make a speculation and prediction, that 30 million came from sources that are illegal.
Like, dude, I have a second bedroom here that I'm not using. I suppose I could just call that an office and be like, yep, I'm managing a hedge fund. Take 30, 40, 50 million from some we love the children and we're going to feed them thing. And then claim to be managing money. That seems to be what's happening here.
And if you did it, you would go to jail for the rest of your life. But if Ilhan Omar does it because she's a Somalian refugee and now a senator, that means she's completely free of any. In fact,
Correct.
If you criticize her for it, that's because you're racist.
Absolutely. I would never criticize any white person for starting a fraudulent fucking hedge fund and a fake winery ever. It's just like, It's just so fucking retarded, man. It's so retarded. And I mean, she's a hero and she's super tough because, she stood up to that guy that sprayed apple cider vinegar as apparently what was in that syringe now. Has Reddit figured out who that guy was yet? Do we know if he's connected to her somehow?
As of now, no. He has a very small social media profile that hasn't really been active for a couple years, and it was some kind of normie con type. Like he may have been sort of conservative-ish when he was posting a few years ago, but not like crazed lunatic type stuff, like not political activist type stuff. And like I said, it was like a lot of really normie con stuff. Like he would give boomerish replies to Posobiec and different accounts. Like it wasn't anything crazy. So I don't know. Yeah, but again, that was just what I found. Like I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it certainly seemed like a high probability of being staged to me, but
everything about the way it played out was very suspicious.
Yeah, there's a confluence of circumstances where it's just like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, we talked about it the other day. It's like there's too much about the way that whole thing plays out, especially if you know how those types of events are organized. Like, shouldn't.
But it certainly can distract from this story breaking that they can't find them registering anything with the SEC. Pretty sure you got to do that if you're going to manage millions of dollars for people. Like that. Yeah. Like, how could that not be, dude? If my net worth went from what it is today to 30 million, I'm pretty sure I'd be audited extensively. Like they'd be like, all right, where did these tens of millions of dollars come from? And I'd be like, oh, I started a hedge fund. Well, you didn't register as a hedge fund and you didn't get any of the legal requirements. Where are your customers? Oh, well, somebody just sprayed me with a syringe. So look over there. This is racist. Absolutely fucking great. But this is the game. Yeah. You work as a fucking prosecutor or whatever. You get your bullshit conviction rates. You only go after people that you can railroad. 90+% conviction rate. I don't know it's something crazy like that. Like they never miss a conviction. And then they do the Kamala Harris thing, run for president. As a former federal prosecutor, how many times have you heard those words uttered by a politician? That fat fuck Chris Christie. That was like, he'd say that every time there was a microphone. As a former federal prosecutor, I did blah, 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 blah. And now I'm in government and I'm making tons of goddamn money just leeching off the system and taxing you to death. All right. Anyway, what else is on the books for today? I don't even know.
I didn't really have a whole lot else. There's a Senate funding deal the funding deal to keep the government open. They had a deal, but it fell through because the Democrats are trying to push for cutting DHS and ICE funding and adding a bunch of other ridiculous bullshit into, like, why does a spending bill have all of this extra bullshit added into it? But they're trying to add in requiring ICE to get a different type of warrant than what has literally always been required. And so the Senate Republicans were like, no, fuck you. We're not going to pass your version of this. And so now it has to go. So now they have a different deal, but it would have to go back to the House, and the House is closed until, or the House isn't in session again until Sunday afternoon, possibly at the earliest if they called an emergency session. So and the government is set to shut down at 12:01 a.m. Saturday morning. So if you choose to stay up tonight, you can stay up till midnight tonight, and you can celebrate the government shutting down again, because it doesn't look like they're going to get a Doesn't look like they're going to get a deal in place.
Dude, it's the amount of time between shutdowns is getting cartoonishly short. Like, weren't we just talking about a government shutdown?
Right. They're gonna be. We're getting to the point where it's gonna be like life during COVID. Like, shut down for 2 weeks and then open up for 2 weeks and then shut down for 2 weeks and open up for 2 weeks. They're gonna flatten the curve of government spending by just not being open.
Like, dude, it was like a couple of months ago. All the kids were going to starve to death because they weren't getting their SNAP benefits. Oh boy, they're going to starve again. The bodies are just going to be piling up in the streets. Except that, of course, none of this shit ever happens. Nothing. Everybody that's, by the way, so we got, I don't know, like all this, what's his name? The Alex Pretty stuff. Like, the video came out of him like kicking that ice car and like spitting on him and stuff. But all of these people that are freaking out about ICE, saying that, you know, you're going to get kidnapped in the middle of the night and like disappeared to Nicaragua or something. These are the same people that were freaking out about COVID, saying everybody was going to die of COVID. Saying that these are the exact same people that said everybody was going to starve to death if they didn't get their food stamps. The exact same people that said 600,000 people are dying because we cut the USAID. Like, they're wrong about everything. Like, quite literally, they're just absolutely wrong about everything. Did you see that? I keep seeing that thing come in my feed where they edited the Alex Pretty picture.
Yeah, to make him look less Jewy.
Yeah, less Jewy and better look. Like, dude, it's like stronger jawline, better teeth, like better hair, tan. They made his shoulders broader, his chest big. Like, and it just keeps like people. I guess people are commenting on it because it keeps coming through my feed. But they did that, right? And of course, the narrative was, oh, he's just this nurse that cares for people. He's directing traffic, and he's
It's a peaceful observer, and then we get to watch him peacefully observe as he yells at the ICE agents to assault me, and then when they don't, he spits on them and kicks the light out of their car, and then they go body slam him, and his family even commented on it. They were like, we told him, like, you know, don't be doing anything like this. You still have broken ribs from the last time you did some dumb shit like this. And
he's not a stable guy. He's like, the way they portray these people is absolutely fucking hilarious, dude. It's 180 degrees off every single time. And that video where it's him attacking the car, and this is from like a couple of weeks ago, and Elizabeth Warren is talking about how great of a guy he is. You've seen that? Oh, he's just such a gentle soul. Like, here he is kicking this car and spitting on him and freaking out. Like, he's crazy. He's another crazy fucking nurse. All these nurses are fucking nuts, man. All of them. And then they used like a younger picture of the chick, Good or whatever it was.
Yeah, Renee Good. They used the old picture of her that looks less insane than all of her current pictures. Here's the here's the Elizabeth Warren clip.
Caring for people was at the core of who he was. He was incapable of causing harm. Alex carried patience, compassion, and calm as a steady light within him. Even at the very end, that light was there. I recognized his familiar stillness and signature calm composure, caring for people.
So if you're just listening, in the background, there's a video of him just literally going ape shit in the streets. He kicked the tail light off of this car in his with all his calm demeanor. He spits on him. He's throwing a fucking tantrum, yelling at him. It really is something, dude. Yeah. And then they edit the picture to make him look better looking. They use the old picture of Renee Good. They use the childhood picture of Trayvon Martin. are you seeing a pattern here? You know, oh, he's just a kid. Mike Brown was just a gentle giant. Renee Good was just a soccer mom taking her kid to daycare or something.
Oh, I got an update on the government shutdown. They came to an agreement. Schumer is now drawing the ire of the leftists the same way that Tim Walz did earlier in the week for deciding to work with ICE. Schumer made a deal, and they're funding DHS for the next 2 weeks while they work on other negotiations for how ICE is going to conduct their business and blah, 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 blah. But so Schumer caved, and they're gonna let everything go. And so they get basically a 2-week reprieve to figure out what they're doing with DHS funding. So now the left is all mad at Chuck Schumer because he's funding the DHS and ICE. And
the Nazis. He's funding the Nazis.
Which, I mean, the Democrats probably would have preferred if the government shuts down, because then ICE is going to stop doing anything until government shutdown ends. So, like, they get their wish. How crazy would it be if we started having leftists protesting to keep the government shut down? It's like, and then you got all the right wingers and libertarians that have been wanting the government shut down for years. Like, wait, are we on the right side of this anymore? What's going on? I don't understand.
Yeah,
now everybody wants the government shut down for varying reasons. Like,
yeah, shut it down. I mean, it's democracy. Let's go. We finally got the 51%.
That's the pitch. Libertarians want the government shut down because it's the government. Republicans want the government shut down because it's funding fraud. Democrats want the government shut down because it's funding ICE. We can all get on the same page and demand government shutdown, and just don't spend any more money on any of this. Like, why can't it be that easy?
Oh man.
Oh, dude, speaking of funding ICE, there's a website called Stop ICE where these leftist lunatics use this as like an organizing page to report locations of ICE agents and where they're staying and blah, 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 and all this other stuff, and trying to dox them and stuff like that. They got hacked. Like, some right-wing hackers hacked that site, and what they posted on the front page of it said, "We were not kidding. We sent your names, logins, passwords, and locations to a bunch of government agencies. The people running the site were terrible coders. We have all of your information." Oh, wow.
So what are the laws against doxing an ICE agent?
I'm pretty sure doxing a federal employee is a felony as well, and might actually have some legitimate jail time with it. So I don't know. I need Jim. He's probably doing something gay, like working.
Fuck is Jim? Yeah. Are we doing a happy hour tonight?
I wasn't planning on it, but we can.
I can do it. I know we owe him one. We're a little haven't done one this year yet, right?
We did some Cards Against Humanity, Ariel, and joined me and Jim, Forte, and a couple of guys from the morning show, and we did Cards Against Humanity a couple weeks ago.
So we're due for another. We can do it. Are you available tonight?
Yeah, I should be.
All right, let's plan on it.
I can't stay up too late. I've got a lot of shit going on tomorrow, so I can't stay up too terribly late. But I can join for a little while.
All right, yeah. I need to get something to drink here. I got some beer in the fridge, but I don't really want that. I haven't stocked my liquor cabinet in my new digs yet.
You better get on that.
Yeah. Well, I can't, dude. I don't have any money left. It's all wiped out today. Let's take a look at our silver trade that I didn't take. See how we're doing here. Yep, there's the trade so far. Right on cue, it's retracing. So yeah, this would have been the trade that if I was trading this, like day trading it, I would have taken this trade. And it was a really nice entry. Just perfect. tripped us in and immediately ran. But we did not overtake these two green candles here from about 1 o'clock today. That's if those hold, we're going lower right here. And it looks like they may be holding, at least temporarily, but we'll see. It's we're going to the last hour of trading here. So we'll see if we can hit our target, get back up to 100. Dude, if it goes from 116 to 74 back to 100, like, holy shit, dude, that is just wild and craziness. But there doesn't seem to be a lot of energy to the upside here. So
yeah, it looks like it keeps hitting resistance every time it tries to make a little bump.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know if it's going to take out 74 again. This looks like a decent reversal, but it looks like it's not going to rip higher. I don't think. But
yeah, it's going to that when you see that, at least with with the kind of stocks that I'm used to trading, especially in the commodity markets, when you see that where it keeps trying to bump up and then it knocks back down, there's not a whole lot of upside potential there. It's probably going to peter out and just kind of go sideways for the rest of the day, and then we'll see what it does on Monday.
Yeah, and on the daily, here we are on the daily. So let's do one more thing. Let me draw the fib on here for this move. Let's see where we're at on our fib retracements. So we're in a deep discount here. This is interesting. So the bottom quadrant of this leg lines up almost perfectly with the midpoint of this zone here. So if I had to guess, it's going to close above 82. Yeah, about above 82.50. If I had to guess, I'd like to see. I should say I would like to see it do that. But holy shit, dude! What a crazy move! Great buying opportunity for those who are not involved. No, I'm just kidding. Do not take this as investment advice. We're just playing around here. But yeah, gold's off the low. Yeah, we're only down 27%. Like, imagine being like, oh, that was a nice little rebound, and you rebound from down 35 to down 27. Yikes. Yeah, we'll see. I think it might get up. Might get back up to around 90 or something, but yeah, I don't know if it'll get back up to 100 today. Maybe it'll save that for Monday. Sunday night's going to be pretty interesting. When Asia opens on Sunday, are they going to be buying or what? I saw somebody posted on the Shanghai Exchange that, yeah. So, yeah, COMEX is the U.S. silver market. We're at 85. Shanghai physical silver is selling for around $130. That's a massive premium. So if you got your silver, you fly it over to fucking China and sell it. Have a vacation while you're there. We'll see. Yeah, but this looks like a nice reversal's underway here, but I don't know if there's going to be enough time in the day for it to really get going. We'll keep an eye on it. I'll update you to see if we hit target today. Rest of the markets basically flat. The Nasdaq's down 1.34%, S&P down 0.5%, Dow down 0.5%. Not a whole lot going on. I guess all eyes are in precious metals. Bitcoin got hammered yesterday. Let's see how that's doing today. 84,000 on Bitcoin. Yeah, like I said, this chart looks terrible. It got as low as 81,000 yesterday. A little bit of a bounce here, but I think that's trending lower. I know Michael Saylor, who's the biggest buyer of Bitcoin for strategies, formerly known as MicroStrategies, so he's been buying for the last 5 years or something. He's like $55 billion worth. He's borrowed and bought Bitcoin with. His average price is like 74,000. And he's the biggest, like, so he's barely up on this position. If it breaks below 74, I don't know how long it's going to be before he's forced to sell. And you can see here, that's the bearish flag pattern I identified a while ago. This is your head and shoulders. Here's the left shoulder, the head, the right shoulder is forming right here. And that's the neckline at about 76,000, right? Well, I guess it would trend up a little bit, but not looking great. Not looking great for crypto. But we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, if it trips below like 75,000, I don't know what MicroStrategy is going to have to do and how long they can hold from, because I think the only reason it's not lower is because he's been buying it like crazy. Yeah, we'll see if we put in a neckline right there. Well, anyway, that's all I got for this week. Be careful out there. Crazy fucking moves. Do not leverage yourself. That's all I can tell you. Do not be on margin in gold and silver. We're going to see a lot more volatility, I think, in the coming weeks and months. And yeah, they're going to keep raising the margin requirements as the prices go higher and the volatility picks up. So you could find yourself getting obliterated on a day like today. I mean, imagine being levered up at 115 silver, like down 35%. And they just liquidate your whole fucking portfolio because you don't have the cash to cover the margin calls. So be careful. And also, well, be greedy when others are fearful. I will say that. Fearful when others are greedy. But yeah, silver's entered a bear market in one day. Gold, not quite. Give gold another day or so, and it could be in a bear market. Imagine gold being in a bear market at like 4,000. This is nuts. Like, this is just fucking craziness. Anyway, we'll do a happy hour are we doing 6:30 or 7:30?
That you tell me.
Okay. Well, I'll send out an email. I don't remember what we were doing. Were we doing 7:30 or 6:30?
Anytime I lead it, we do 7:30, but usually when you lead it, we do 6:30. So you get to.
Okay. Well, 7:30 is fine. Is 7:30 better for you?
Stephanie usually goes to bed around 7 or so. So 7:30 means I'm past her bedtime and I can come out here and do whatever the fuck I want without being bothered.
Can't slip her an Ambien or something at 6:15? All right. Yeah, we'll plan on 7:30 Central Time on that. I'll send out the email as soon as we wrap here. Thanks for listening, everybody. Have a great weekend. And until next time, you know what to do. Just keep on peddling that so-called fiction. Peace.